Hey, and welcome back, everybody, to Coleman Livestock Company's farm. It's the West Tennessee Shepherd here. So after going over everything we went over so far, you've decided you want to raise hair sheep. Uh, you've learned about dogs. You got your dogs lined up. You learned about the breeds of sheep, so you figured out what kind of sheep you want to raise, or what breed of sheep you want to raise in that hair sheep family. And we've hit how to acquire sheep, so now you've got your sheep. So now you got these sheep home, you got these dogs home. What are you gonna feed them? Well, this is kind of a interesting and fun subject. So this is what I feed my sheep right here. It's, yes, I know it says beef feed. It is 14% beef feed from Co-op. And the reason I feed 14% beef, well, first, the reason I go to Co-op instead of R&J and Tractor Supply is because I can go 5 minutes one way or 5 minutes the other and be at Co-op. It takes me about 7-8 minutes to get to Tractor Supply in Milan. It takes me about 45-50 minutes to get to R&J in Jackson, and it takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to get to Rural King and Martin. But I have fed feed from all those stores. So basically, all right, now next, the reason I'm feeding beef feed instead of sheep feed. All right, I used to buy 12% sheep feed from General Sheep Feed from Co-op. And basically, even after they cut me a deal because I'd buy it by the ton, it was still $7.83 a bag. So this is the label. And I let the vet look at it. I've looked at it, and we didn't see anything wrong with it. You're getting more protein. It's a complete feed. It may not necessarily be geared towards sheep, but as far as minerals and things like that, I've got sheep mineral. So all in all, it was a good switch, and it basically saves $1 a bag. And when you're pushing a lot of sheep, we're not pushing as many sheep as we did last year and the year before because we had to cut some back just because of our Dorper issues and missing the lamb crop and things like that. So we had to cut back some. So anyway, that's really where the idea came from, is we were looking at ways that we could save money but still do a good job. So that's why we went with a beef feed, because it's cheaper by and large. And if you buy it by the ton, it's cheaper. If you get a grain bin, have it delivered in bulk, it gets even cheaper. That being said, if you are a Rural King fan, they have a great 15% commodity mix of feed. You can get it sweet feed or non-sweet feed, same price, $6.75 a bag. Only thing I don't like about it is I think it's great to feed ewes and things like that with. Sheep aren't necessarily a fan of the fines, but if you're putting it out in a feeder and you're feeding ewes, rams, and you're trough feeding and you're putting out exactly what they want to eat, they're going to eat it. If you stick it in a creep feeder, what I've learned is with the lambs, if you stick it in a creep feeder, they're going to dig through there and they're going to eat the DDGs out and the soy hull pellets out and the corn out. And they're going to leave the fines in there, and you'll come back 3 days later and there's all these fines in there nobody's touching. And so it's just wasted money. So it's a great feed. I like it. It was just a little bit further than I cared to drive once a week to get a ton or two. So, and that the whole creep feeding issue. So R&J had a nice 12, I think it was a 12% beef feed, and they had a great deal on it. It was like $6.75 a bag is what I was getting it for. And that's been about a year plus ago. I don't know what it is now. I don't want to say it was a Nutrena product. It came out of a female in Mississippi, and it was just a plain white bag. It was good. I liked it, but like I said, I was driving further to get it, and I really did. I liked the Co-op feed, and so I've actually found this out and or found this and decided to go this way, and so this is the way I went, and this is how I'm going to stay. Some people like to feed whole kernel corn, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's your corn's your 18% protein. No, I'm sorry, it's 8% protein in corn, but it's great as far as the energy goes. And I fed straight corn when I started, but I could get corn in bulk, and I wasn't having to spend the money. Nothing. If you go to some of your chain farm stores, I think it's like $8, $8.50 for a bag of shell corn. Well, why am I going to pay that much for shell corn when I can buy a complete feed with a higher protein content and put my money to better use? You know, like I said, I fed sheep straight corn on winter with halfway decent pasture, and I had some good looking sheep. But I've also, once I got to the point that, you know, I didn't have access to the corn at that price, I started going to bag feed, and it's just a lot better. And I knew better. I should have been using bag feed, but I had a good source of corn at a cheaper price. And money was tight when I was starting out, and I was new. But, you know, growing up around livestock, I should have known better, but this is the way we decided to go, and so this is what we're doing. With sheep, you don't want to feed them anything with copper in it. I think there's a threshold. A sheep can only have like 13 parts per million, it's a ridiculous number. Sheep gets enough copper in them. Like, let's see, I fed them horse feed one time because of where I was getting my feed from. They didn't have my order in because I ordered ahead, so it'd be there. They didn't have the feed in, so I wound up getting the feed, horse feed, and you can feed it, and it had a little bit of copper in it. Well, you can feed the copper, but if you're feeding them something that has copper in it over a period of time, and that copper builds up to that level in that sheep's body, it will kill it. Whereas just once in a blue moon is not horrible. But my rule on this farm is if it's got copper in it, it don't come on the farm, because I don't want to mix up in something body some way, somehow it gets in the sheep and it kills it. All right, then as far as that covers feed. So, like I said, I'm not recommending any brand of feed. This is just where I get my from and what I use. This is Co-op Sheep Mineral, Supreme Sheep Mineral. Co-op Supreme Sheep Mineral. I want to say it's like $13 for 25 pounds. Then Tractor Supply has their sheep mineral. It's about the same for 50 pounds. They also sell Tractor Supply also sells a sheep mineral called Dumore, or brand of Dumore, and my understanding is what it was told to me is that is a Purina product. And that's a good product. When it comes to mineral, what I've learned is you get what you pay for. And I don't care if I go and change feed suppliers tomorrow, we're gonna run Co-op Supreme Sheep Mineral. And that's what it is. It is what it is. I like it, and I can tell a difference. Sorry about the sun in your eyes there. Then you've got sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda. The reason we give them baking soda, and I have it free choice year round, is when they get on a lot of green grass or they get to eating a lot of legumes. Here in about another month, I'll have more clover out here that I can shake a stick at, and it'll be freaking top of my boots high, believe it or not. And they'll get in there and they'll get to wearing it out, and their hind ends will be green and whatnot, and they'll get their rumen all out of whack, and they can get bloat from it. So I got this sodium bicarbonate, and you just put it out over here, and like I said, there's our sodium bicarbonate, there's our mineral. You put it out, they'll eat it, they know what it is, magically they know what it is, and it takes those issues off the table. I finally had a sheep get bloat about a week ago. I took her to the vet. It cost roughly $100, and I got to see how he handles bloat. It's really nothing to it for the most part, but I know how to handle bloat in a cow, but I didn't want to take a bloat knife to a sheep. So I took her to the vet. It cost me $100. He got the gas out of her, got her some mineral oil in her, gave me some probiotics for her, and told me, he said, make sure you got sodium bicarbonate free choice. I said, I do. He said, okay, she just might be a little piggy. And so that's what we went with. And then of course, you got to feed the dogs. I like a nice high protein of dog food. And this here, I get it, and I like it because it comes from the same store that we get the sheep feed from. If I can get everything at one stop, you're that much better off. You think you're cool, or not say you're cool, but you think you're saving money when you go to this place to get that, and that place to get that, and that place to get that, and you're saving money. When you add up the time, the fuel, trying to go to all these stores and get all this stuff at the cheapest price possible, you spend more money between your time and your fuel trying to do all that. But if you can find one store that gets everything taken care of, man, go with them. And they'll appreciate the business and they'll take care of you. So we feed them this, and then in the wintertime during deer season, if I kill a deer, I'll have it ground up because my wife's not a fan of deer meat, and they'll eat deer meat and that stuff, which in the wintertime we'll bump the protein up to the next level. But that's pretty much it for feed. If you have any questions, just stick them in the comments below. You got any comments, stick them in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. We're gonna do another video here shortly on forage, so you can, as far as hay and things of that nature, and we'll go through that here shortly. So we'll see y'all then. Bye.